While rockets fly overhead and the world watches Gaza burn, Israel just struck liquid gold, worth $20 trillion, beneath the Mediterranean Sea. This discovery is about to reshape the entire Middle East in ways mainstream media won't tell you. What's up, Finance Unmasked family? Today, we're diving deep into one of the biggest energy stories being completely overshadowed by headlines about war and conflict. Because while everyone's focused on explosions above ground, there's a $20 trillion treasure beneath the waves driving this entire regional power struggle.
Well, the conflict between Iran and Israel is having an impact on the price of oil here, and in return, we're seeing increases at the pump.
It's because of all of these geopolitical situations. We certainly did see gold and oil start to spike on the back of that.
Section 1. The discovery revealed. Let me set the stage. Israel's eastern Mediterranean coastline sits on what experts call the Levant Basin, a massive underwater gas field containing an estimated 122 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. At today's prices, that's a jaw-dropping $20 trillion in recoverable reserves. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of the United States. It's enough gas to power Europe for the next 50 years, and it's sitting right in Israel's territorial waters. The two main fields are Leviathan and Tamar. Leviathan alone holds around 22.9 trillion cubic feet, worth about $3.5 trillion. Tamar holds another 10 trillion cubic feet. Here's what's wild. Israel went from having zero energy resources to being a potential energy superpower basically overnight. In 2024, Israel's gas production hit record levels, over 2.6 billion cubic feet per day. That's enough to supply their entire domestic market and still have tons left for export.
Evening tension across Tel Aviv today. Israel's military downed 5 Hezbollah drones over the Mediterranean Sea.
Section 2. The current conflict connection. Now here's where it gets spicy and why Hezbollah drones are suddenly targeting Israeli gas platforms. In July 2024, Hezbollah launched drone attacks on Israel's Karish gas platform. Mainstream media called it escalation, but they missed the real story. This isn't random violence, it's economic warfare. The Karish platform alone supplies about a third of Israel's domestic energy. Hezbollah knows that Israel's gas revenues are fueling their military machine. Every $1 billion Israel makes from gas exports is another billion they can spend on defense and operations. But there's a deeper layer. The attacks got so intense that Israel had to temporarily shut down both Leviathan and Karish fields, relying only on Tamar for domestic power. This hit gas exports to Egypt and Jordan hard, showing just how vulnerable this $20 trillion treasure really is. Iran, through Hezbollah, is trying to stop Israel from becoming energy independent because an energy-rich Israel is a strategically untouchable Israel. Right now, Israel exports about 13 billion cubic meters of gas a year, but they're planning to triple that by 2030. Section 3. The Gaza Marine controversy. But here's the part that'll blow your mind. There's another gas field called Gaza Marine sitting just off the coast of Gaza with about 1 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. That's roughly $4 billion in total revenue. Guess who can't access it? Palestine. Even though Gaza Marine is technically in Palestinian waters, they can't develop it because of the Israeli blockade and security restrictions. So Palestinians are sitting on billions of dollars in natural gas they can't touch, while Israel becomes an energy powerhouse just miles away. The UN estimates Palestinians have lost over $2.5 billion in opportunity costs since this field was discovered in 2000. That's money that could have generated $100 million annually for the Palestinian Authority, enough to reduce their dependence on foreign aid. If Gaza Marine was developed, it could power 1.5 million Palestinians and generate enough revenue to rebuild Gaza's infrastructure. But geopolitics keeps that off the table. Section 4. Regional power shifts. Now let's talk about how this discovery is flipping Middle Eastern alliances upside down. Israel has signed massive gas export deals with Egypt and Jordan, countries they were at war with for decades. The Israel-Egypt deal alone, extended through 2040, is worth $35 billion. Jordan is buying billions more. Arab nations are now economically dependent on Israeli energy. That's a total reversal of the old Middle Eastern power structure where Arab oil producers called the shots. In 2024, Israel's gas exports to Egypt and Jordan jumped 13%, reaching over 13 billion cubic meters. Nearly half of Israel's gas goes to former enemies who are now energy customers. It gets even more interesting. Cyprus and Greece are teaming up with Israel on the East Med pipeline, a multi-billion-dollar underwater project that would send Israeli gas straight to Europe. This would make Israel a major supplier to the EU, giving them unprecedented geopolitical leverage. Turkey, not happy. The pipeline bypasses their territory completely, threatening their dream of being Europe's energy gateway.
The global Sumud flotilla sails toward Gaza. But will it break the blockade or endure a dangerous, potentially deadly confrontation?
Section 5. The global implications. Here's why this matters globally. Europe is desperate to cut its dependence on Russian gas after the Ukraine war. Israeli gas could fill that gap, but only if it can get there safely. Every rocket attack on gas infrastructure, every border dispute, every Gaza escalation shakes investor confidence and delays projects. When Hezbollah hit Karish, energy markets freaked out. It proved these trillion-dollar assets are sitting ducks. If Israel becomes a major LNG exporter, they join the ranks of Qatar, Australia, and the US as global energy powers. That's a seismic shift in influence. But all of it depends on regional stability. The $20 trillion question, can Israel cash in on these reserves while managing the security risks of being surrounded by hostile neighbors who see their energy wealth as a threat? Section 6. What happens next? So what's the endgame? Israel is betting that energy wealth will buy them security and international support. And honestly, countries don't usually attack their energy suppliers. But this also makes Israel a bigger target. Iran sees Israeli energy independence as an existential threat. That's why we're seeing more attacks on gas infrastructure and why this conflict is likely to get even hotter. The next 5 years will decide whether Israel's $20 trillion discovery is a blessing, a curse, or both.
Today we begin with the latest in West Asia. Israel and Iran continue to remain locked in a dangerous cycle of retaliation.
So what do you think? Is this discovery a game changer for Middle East peace? Or just more fuel for the fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more hidden finance exposés every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday.
Israeli military's warning to Gaza City residents as its ground incursion into the city begins.